I'm currently on the phone with Rob. He's another musician that reached out about the current interview sessions. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
Hey, Alex, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. My name is Rob Paro. I am a local musician. I've been in some original bands, some original projects around town, and I'm currently in the Red Hot Chili Pepper tribute, Sir Psycho, as the guitar player.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll definitely get into a bunch of that. But I always like to start kind of in the beginning. So why don't you give me some detail about,
Right.
how you first kind of came in contact with music? What about it kind of inspired you and made you want to participate in it?
Gosh, I guess it's kind of cliche. I mean, because a lot of people have kind of gone about it this way, but like Kiss. Like when I first saw Kiss, I was like, oh man, what is this? Like superheroes. I was into superheroes, and those guys were pretty much the epitome of rock star superhero hybrids, I guess. So
What about age do you think it was when you first kind of had that set in?
I was really young. I must have been like at least 6 or 7. When I was that kid that was like I gravitated towards percussion, towards drums. So I was like that kid that took out mom's pots and pans and set them out on the picnic table in the summer and just was like pretending that I was the drummer for Kiss.
Okay, sure.
That's kind of where I guess that's the earliest memory I have of it. I guess it's also kind of a genetic thing, yeah. But when I first discovered it in myself, that's kind of how it came along, I
Okay.
guess.
And then, so once you kind of hit that point where you decided that you were going to pursue it, it wasn't just going to be something passing. I know now you mentioned you're a guitarist. How did you kind of transition into like learning guitar and then eventually kind of choosing that as your main instrument?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's a funny one too, because it's like, I was the kid that was like the tennis racket was my guitar, the broom handle or the broomstick was my guitar, and I'd just be kind of like, emulating a guitar player. And then I kind of, I wanted to get a guitar. I wanted to learn how to play guitar. And I had a friend actually give me one, that they weren't using. And then I had somebody buy me it was like a plastic guitar, it wasn't really serious, but that's what I started on. And then somebody bought me a real, electric guitar. And then that's kind of where I went. And that's just mostly self-taught, but I did take some lessons. I wanted to be like a classical guitar player. I didn't really want to be like a rock guitar player. I just wanted to be like a really proficient classical guy.
So when you say self-taught, are you talking about like getting tabs and learning those or picking up music books? You mentioned classical, so I assume some sort of music book. Or was it like kind of playing to the radio of, songs that you liked, Kiss songs?
Yeah, just trying to figure stuff out by ear, learning how to navigate, the sounds on the guitar and the guitar neck, and I mean, I wasn't really learning the notes, but just kind of banging, just hacking around, and then just kind of evolving from there. I mean, yeah, I did work into, taking some lessons and then getting into some books. And then I'm always interested in, educating myself on newer techniques and stuff too.
So tell me about the process that you took from learning the instrument to the point where you're comfortable enough creating with it, where you started to reach out to other musicians and want to play with them.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. It was like I guess I was fairly good at it right away. I could do a lot of cool things, but I never gravitated towards like getting into a group. And my friends would always come over to my house and they'd just, they'd listen to me play guitar and I'd always be playing guitar. And, people were always real complimentary about it. They'd always say like, hey man, you should totally get into a band. But I just really never had a desire to do it. So like, I mean, I just literally just wanted to play guitar. I just enjoyed playing guitar. But then it just kind of came time and it was way overdue to just join a band. And then I met a singer, on my job, and it was kind of one of those magical stories where, we just crossed paths, and he was a singer looking for a guitar player. I was a guitar player looking for a singer, and I had an existing band, and then he had songs ready. He was very much the cliche singer songwriter guy, and yeah, we just kind of locked up, and the rest of the band didn't enjoy the music, so I fired the rest of the band and moved on with the singer.
Okay. And was that kind of the first band you were ever in, and that was like all kind of originals, all original material?
Absolutely, yep. And I've always gravitated towards making my own original music. I mean, ever since I really picked up the guitar, that's kind of how I figured it out. It was just like, making my own sounds, trying to make my own songs. And yeah, I just never really wanted to copy anybody. It was kind of, that's just the way it was for me.
From the way you kind of describe the way you envision yourself with music, you kind of describe yourself more kind of as a solo songwriter kind of person. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely can. That's kind of my bread and butter. I think that's my strongest point is to be an original musician. I could literally, if a guy came to me and was like, "Hey, I need a bunch of songs and I need a bunch of riffs," I'll be like, "Okay, well, I got a bunch of songs and I got a bunch of riffs, or I could make some stuff up, or we could create some stuff." I really enjoy that. Just literally just pulling stuff out of the air
Sure.
and just creating. And it's a lot of it's the vibe, or the frequency that the room is kind of presenting. I don't. That's kind of weird, I guess, maybe, but and some people may not get that or understand that, but
No, I think there's a legitimate point there. The environment that you're creating in definitely it has an impact for sure.
yeah, and it's the individuals that you're around and their energy and what that kind of it literally just creates something out of nothing. Really. I mean, yeah, your end game is to create a song or create some sounds and get a good thing going, but yeah, it's really just literally like creating it at that moment. I really thrive in that situation. That's probably the best musical situation for me to be in.
Awesome. So, tell me about the transitional period between that first band to kind of where you are now. How many iterations of bands do you think you've been through before you kind of realize that you're kind of better off doing it solo, and then B, getting into the tribute band?
Yeah, so I've probably been in like a handful of bands. I want to, let me try to count here real quick. Yeah, like 4 or 5 bands. Some of those are actually cover bands. It's not just a, you know, and how do I describe this? It's just, yeah, I transitioned into the tribute scene or the cover band scene, but I was in like 3 or 4 original bands and then a couple of cover bands, um, which is, the most recent things that I've done. But
So
yeah,
tell me a bit about how you stumbled into like the tribute scene. You're one of the first people I've spoken to that is in that tribute scene. I've only spoken to like one or two others,
right.
but I've never really gotten. Well, I guess everybody kind of has a different way that they went into it. But were you kind of just out there looking for a band to join, and that's the one that came along, or are you like super into the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, that's it, and that's exactly how it happened. It was like a friend of mine, Garrison Perez. He was my neighbor at my studio. We were really good friends, and he just put out a Facebook thing that said, "Hey, does anybody want to start a Red Hot Chili Pepper tribute band?" And I saw the message, and I was like, literally, the first thought that I had was like, and what I had and how I had responded to him was like, I was literally born to do this, because it was like I'm a huge John Frusciante Red Hot Chili Pepper fan, and yeah, so it just went from there. I heeded the call, I guess. I mean, I didn't originally start it, but he was the one that planted the seed, and then we went from there. And then I handpicked, my bass player Mike Nett, who was like absolutely the same guy. He was like totally born for his role in the position in the band. The Chili Pepper tribute. Um,
So let's talk about that now. Tell me what you guys are up to. I usually when I ask this question, I ask, "Are you guys in like the writing phase and the touring phase?" I don't know, so I'm not going to exactly speculate. But do you guys write together like new stuff, or how does that work?
yeah, no, we just we play. You know, we are definitely a Red Hot Chili Pepper tribute band, so we're always just working on new songs by the Chili Peppers. You know, we're ever expanding our library of songs that we do. And
Okay, so it's more like adding a song to the catalog that you play out of rather than like writing material kind of thing.
yeah, it's so not that model, where we're writing, our own original stuff. It's just, we've already learned stuff that's been written, and it makes it a lot easier to run it that way because, everybody just does their homework and then you show up in the room and then that's when the magic happens.
Right, right. Awesome. So you guys are out doing shows.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
often would you guys say that you play out?
We've been together for about 5 or 6 years. It took us a solid year to get guys together and then get the songs together. So it was, good enough to present to an audience. And then we haven't looked back since. I mean, we've had a couple of lineup changes, but we are very active on the tribute scene. It's grown and grown and grown since day one. We've been pretty successful. We're doing some pretty big shows. We got a lot of. We just played the Doghouse with Alice in Chains tribute Mad Alice, and then Lithium. We did like an album night where bands did like specific albums by those particular bands, in their entirety. Um, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, that was the last show that we did, and we have an upcoming show in October at the Nordic Brewery in Monticello. It's called the Monopalooza. It's got we've got like 7 different tribute bands that are going to be playing, and it's about 1,000 tickets, and it's kind of a big production. I mean, we're rolling, man. We're definitely we've been successful. It's been great.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
loves it.
awesome. That's kind of a recurring thing that comes up through these interviews when people talk about cover bands and things like that. Is it's about being out and playing music. It's not just about necessarily being the one, or playing original music. It's about playing your instrument and being a musician kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, and then and being active and then getting paid too. I guess that always kind of helps. I mean that original game that's a tough. The original music game. It's tough to get people to pay attention. Like a tribute band, because a tribute band, everybody knows they're coming in and they know what you're going to do, and they're fans of that particular band. So
So, on that note, though, you are still working on your like own original stuff in tandem with the tribute project.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff is on hold right now. I mean, I've got a ton of music that I want to release where it's just me kind of doing everything. I kind of want to do the Prince thing, or Lenny Kravitz, where he's just doing everything, the drums, bass, guitars, vocals, harmonies and everything. And then all the composition, I've got a few recordings that I've, been working on that I want to release, sometime, or, get it out there, but it's just been kind of unfinished, for a few months. And then I've had some, weird situations. There was a fire at my studio, so I was actually not able to access my studio for quite a few months. And then I'm still there, but I mean, I kind of put everything on hold, or it's kind of been on hold from there. So I'm trying to gain ground and get back to it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna put out some really cool tunes, man. Some really cool rock songs, original.
Tell me, a couple of your favorite memories that have happened to you surrounding music, something that had an impact on you that just kind of keeps you motivated.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so much. I guess can't think of a particular incident. I guess where I was just like, oh man, I want to do this forever. But but I mean, well, I guess right now it's currently the Chili Peppers. I mean, I love playing with the guys that I play with. They're always an inspiration. They're super supportive, great guys. Yeah, I guess don't really know how to answer
Fair
that.
enough. All right. Well, so what are some social media links where people can find Sir Psycho and yourself and, follow you and come check you out?
Yeah, well, we got the Sir Psycho page on Facebook. We do have a sirpsychomn.com that we just released. So there's access to a couple of different websites. We kind of use the Facebook thing. Facebook, social media has been just great to connect and network, and boy, I tell you, if you utilize that the proper way, you're really going to grow your brand and get out there more. As long as you're doing something good.
All right. Well, so I always like to give the person I'm interviewing the chance to put out their final word. So, what's a message that you want to put out there that you think other people should hear?
Man, just if you're a musician out in the scene, I guess keep going, keep your head up, stay positive. Keep creating and always learning, and you can always learn from your contemporaries, and don't ever think that you're better than anybody else out there, I guess, and don't be a dick. I don't know if that's sagely advice, but yeah, I mean, that could go a lot deeper, but in a nutshell, it's just man, try to get along with the musicians you work with out there. There's a lot of talent out there, in the original, music realm and the tribute scene. Um, yeah, man, just be a good guy and get up on stage and entertain the folks that come to see you.